We can call her a IFBB Pro. Welcome back, the lovely Mrs. Montana Frey. As you know, just about a couple weeks ago, she got a pro card in the women's physique division at the North American no, sorry, the national championships. She was also in the overall. In my opinion, I think she should have won it. That's just my opinion. But we're going to talk to her and get her feeling now and what she's been up to since we last time we had the interview and what are plans now. She has that IFBB Pro stick to her name. So welcome back, Montana.
Thank you for having me.
Not a problem, not a problem. I enjoy having you ladies on here. So what's the feeling now, boss? Now you are IFBB Pro.
The feeling hasn't really set in yet. We took my pro card and we made it our Christmas tree topper in the house, and it's still there. So, but we just I feel like I've been chasing this for such a long time, and when I talk about how long, or people have asked me how long I've been bodybuilding for, I was like, I've been doing it since I was 16 years old. And so they're like, oh, it's been that. I haven't been chasing a pro card since I was 16. No, but I've been probably chasing it for maybe 4 years now. And so it's been a long and a lot of evolutions of change.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So it's been interesting.
When you're 16, you're still wet behind the ears and breath smell like Similac. So
Yeah.
yeah, like I said, because
Had
you're
no
16.
business being on a stage.
Yeah, you're 16 was my 30 something. I most definitely know that. So
Yeah.
yeah, but yeah, I think that's the thing that everybody gets into sport. They do it because it's a passion sport. As I talked about before, bodybuilding is not as popular as compared to other sports. And
No.
you've been an athlete before in your past, and it's just a different level when compared to other sports.
Right. And it's also you, especially for women's bodybuilding divisions, you have to genuinely be passionate about the sport, because the only rewarding and fulfillment you get is from your show wins and winning your pro card. you know there's what do you have going on after that? You go for your pro debut and chase after the Olympia title, and that's one of the few that's where it goes for us. There's nothing else after that, and you have to really just genuinely be passionate about it, because it's not like
Because
how
yeah, because it's a
men's divisions are. So it's you know
Yeah, because I say this often, the men's division gets a lot more attention. Once you hit to pro level, there's more sponsorship, money opportunities. For the women, unless your divisions like maybe wellness or bikini, maybe even figure somewhat, but it's a lot harder for you, more bigger women who have more aesthetically more muscle compared to those divisions.
right. It's at the end of the day, it is about the appeal to the eye and what's gonna sell, and it's understanding, but also women in physique and bodybuilding, we're like a bunch of badass individuals. And what's crazy is a lot of us work full-time jobs, and on top of that manage a prep, and on top of that compete at pro levels, like or compete at national levels to win pro cards. And it's no one really talks about that. And I just this past week I've just been giggling at seeing some of these documentaries of pro bodybuilders, the men's divisions. And they're like, this is all discipline, it's hard. I'm like, dog, you're paid to eat food and go to the gym. All these women that are professionals, that are winning titles, they're working full-time jobs, going to the gym, managing their families, and still winning. What's your excuse? That's where I go. When I see those videos, I'm like, it's not really you're not doing anything that crazy that we aren't doing. So that was my little tidbit on that, for
Yeah,
seeing these.
I would love to do something like that. Do a documentary for some women who are bodybuilders like yourself and others who have jobs, who have families, have responsibilities. I got a friend. Her name is Tina. Shout out to Tina. Her husband is an IB Pro male bodybuilder. He's retired now. My big brother, Big Keith, he just had knee surgery just a couple of days ago. Shout out to my big brother, Mr. Big Keith Williams. And she's balancing not only, being a wife, taking care of her home, having two children at home, and also having a job and a career, and still finding time to compete because she did a couple of shows this year. And that's the thing about this. You women don't, even though his truth is, y'all make up nearly the larger numbers of the IFBB. Even though you got the men's divisions, you got to count from the. I'm going from the top to the bottom. You have women's bodybuilding, you have physique, you have figure, you have fitness, bikini, wellness. In the new division, excuse me,
Fit
fit
model.
model. Here's the thing about saying that. I have nothing against the competitors. Any of you two ladies who competed for fit model, one of them just got a pro card about a couple months back. I just
Yeah,
feel like you bring me a division that's a throwback to a division that's going to evolve to be like that same division.
right. And I think it's like they're just trying to make it a little more, have a little more diversity and inclusion. So it's just like another like another source of like cash flow for the sport, which is understandable. But like I don't foresee like the Miss Olympia for fit body or fit model like staying that. Like she's probably gonna progress into something else if she continues training. So
Mhm.
it's like I think it's like a gateway sport or like a gateway division to other divisions for other athletes to get into.
Yeah,
Like
that's
I'm
it.
very like I see both sides of it, but it's also like if you've been in this for a long time, just like I have, like you see where like the big picture is coming from to keep the traction going for the sport.
Yeah, I know. This year we in physique lost a few shows with bodybuilding, lost a few shows, and now with the fit model division coming in, some promoters want to make room for it, but that's it. It's a business. It's about making money. So going back to now, I know last year you did the amateur Olympia. What happened there? What was
That was like the worst show I've ever like I was it was the most like embarrassing moment for me. Like nothing on like my coach or anything. It was just like I I got with Justin at 8 weeks out and we were just literally throwing darts on a board and hoping that like things would stick. And I peaked the day before and I just looked so like watery and washed out on stage that I was like, man, this is like it was just bad. I was having a lot of issues because of like my workload and stuff like that. I was having issues with binge eating. Like there was so many things that were like wrong with like that tail end of prep after like we had our interview, and then it just like spiraled on from there. And then like life hit me really hard after I moved to Texas to like just have like a little fresh restart, and then we like had a little bit of trouble in the beginning when I first moved out here, and I was like couch surfing a little bit until I got on my feet. And then once when I went back into welding like full time, and things were going good. And my like my dad had been battling cancer. I had found that out like after at the Olympia at the amateur. Like my mom had like told me like what was wrong with him, and he like finished chemo, and like my parents like just kept it from us because they didn't want me knowing about it or worrying about it. And so when we spent Thanksgiving together, like we like celebrated the holiday and like talked more about like what it was like, what his condition was like, and how bad it was. And then when we got to, I want to say around like February, March, um, it was just like it was getting really bad for him. And so I like told my work what was going on. I went back home to like because he was in the ICU, and then I came back, and then I told my like work what was going on, and they handed me my layoff slip. They let me go. Yeah, so they fired me, and then like a week that's so like that after they handed me my layoff slip, the next day my dad was back in the ICU, and it was like I used that last check, went back home, and like said goodbye to my dad, and then came back and I was like unemployed for like 2 months, and just like Uber Eatsing and just trying to get by. And like the whole time, like I'm telling my coach like what's going on and stuff. And we were just doing the bare minimum, bare essentials. Like he's helping me, like making sure that I'm like getting like the stuff that I need for the meantime. And like we were just like trying to keep the lights on in the apartment. And it was like we were dealing with shitty weather. Like there's a lot of things going on. And like my fiance, like she was very supportive and very helpful and like had my like helped me through like a lot of this stuff. And then when I like picked back up into work in the summertime, that's when we like started prep. Like so, like that whole time, my whole off season time wasn't really an off season. It was like fight for survival kind of thing, and like grieve the loss of your parent, and like plan his like funeral, and like get him cremated. It was like it was not expected at all. Like life hit me really hard, and then like we started working again, and then things got better. We started prep, and then like changes started happening like for the best, like one after another. And then I was able to like I got to a point where I was like, okay, I finished my job in North Texas, and then I decided to like take some time off. I bought a house down in San Antonio, so like me and my fiance could like live closer together. And so we got a house together, and we finished out prep here. And then like I started working during prep, like the hard parts of prep. We started working, and I was outside. Like we were working outside in the San Antonio heat
In Texas.
in Texas.
See, North Carolina, our heat is a little bit more humidity. We don't get as hot compared to
Oh,
Texas.
it
Y'all
gets
be out there,
hot.
y'all be shaking hands with the devil.
Yeah, and it was like, and like just a little bit of what I do at work is like I'm a welding apprentice. So, but when I got to San Antonio, they hired me out as like a journeyman welder. But when I got out to the job site, I was expecting to just go out and like weld and not like have to do a lot of like legwork because they told me that's what was happening.
Mhm.
But once when my boss, like the foreman out there, was like, "Oh, you're an apprentice? Oh, bet." So then he's like, "Yeah, we don't care that you could like you're welding, like you're an apprentice. So we're gonna do X, Y, and Z, and you're gonna just work you like a dog, basically." So it's like 10 hours a day, like just like busting my butt, and then waking up, fasted cardio before I even go to work, and working all day. So like Justin and I had to like manage, manipulate, and all like my food, my training, and all that stuff around work, which like he was nervous about because what I experienced last time. But I was like, dog, it's a 410 schedule. It's manageable. It's not that bad. And like we were shooting from the hip with a 7/12 schedule. So like 90-hour work weeks at prepping for amateur O. And then that was like, dude, we can handle 40 hours. It's not bad. Like, it's not that bad. Like, I was fortunate enough to spend like my summer indoors working in air conditioning, like tube bending and instrumentation work. So, like, that was like the hard parts of like the big chunks of prep were like somewhat easier, but like that little last like 8 weeks was a little rough to say the least. But I took 2 weeks off of work before like we went up to Irving, so it smoothed itself over to say the
Well,
least.
well, my condolences to the loss of your father. It's been 5 years since the passing of my mother, and our parents. They're the people that, especially for us boys, our mothers are our first woman we ever love. A boy's best friend is his mother. For you girls, your father, that's the man that you set the example of what you know about other men in your life. And it's tough to lose that person that close to you. I know him probably by his age. I tell you, if I can tell you, give you a big hug, and sweetheart, everything's gonna be all right. You'll be fine. Now, this life will test you. There'll be times you will often feel like you are broken, but but God don't put no more than He can bear. And sometimes you'll bend, but you never break. So, folks,
Absolutely.
Folks, we'll do this where I got Montana here, and she just tell this growth story. I'm trying not to cry. I try to,
Yeah, no crying.
no crying in bodybuilding and interviews. You know, I'm a man. I'm a man. So let's see. So we're gonna do this, folks. We'll jump into Montana's IG. You want to follow her, check her out, shout her out. You know, support her. Reach out with genuine interest. But you know my saying, guys, it's a nice, lovely young lady. You know, and I know you freaks out there. You seen the video, you seen the pictures, you see how she looks. Wow. But don't understand circumstances. I'm gonna treat like she's one of my nieces, or if she was my daughter. If you send her some weird shit, we're gonna have a problem. You will see a big black man at your door, knock and say, "What you send to my niece?" So, folks, we're gonna jump into her social media. If you want to follow Montana and reach out support, be genuine about it. So, here we are. And this is from some pictures here from the where you wear your pro card. You're right beside a lady who just interviewed recently. She's also a Bad Rep sponsored athlete. That's Roxy George. And you know, and when you
Roxy was amazing, like talking to her backstage, and like we got to reach out to each other, and she was like super cool. And she's like, I'm just so excited to like meet other like WPT like tall girls, because like Roxy and I are like, I think an inch difference in height. But I was like, finally, like I got to see some of the girls like that are in my class and like that are my height. Like the whole week we were just like, I know like we were watching each other's stories, like just like gunning for each other. But it was like super great sportsmanship, and like we had a lot of like fun like backstage and chatting it up.
Yeah, and here you look amazing. I mean, your conditioning is top notch. You know, Justin Jacoby, he's been really working with. I think just not you, where I think it was yourself, Hayden. I think Casey
Casey
and
and Kelly Larkin.
Ken
Yeah,
Larkin.
we had a pretty stacked team, and I was like, I was hoping that we would go 4 for 4. Like Casey could have gotten her pro card, but she was in a pretty stacked class, so I was like, I was really bummed out for her.
Yeah, and this year's was really stacked because the last time I interviewed a lady who got her pro card wins bodybuilding at nationals, that was Natalie Miller. It was only I think 6 women, so they had to
Yeah,
smush it down to one class that year, and she won the overall for women's bodybuilding because, like I said again, she was the only it was the only class they had.
yeah,
Yeah, here's this with your lovely fiance. What's her name?
Kirsten.
How long y'all been together now?
We've been together. This is gonna sound bad, but we've been together for like 9 months. But girls like move fast, so
So it's a do sometimes. We move fast too, but sometimes give me a gauge.
yeah. When you know,
But
you know. So like you're just you're not gonna wait, you know.
yeah, and when did y'all two meet?
Um, we met like through social media, through mutual friends, and then like just finally decided to like meet up with each other.
It's cool. That's good. Yeah, that's great. And you know, here she is with Sarah Vilgas. As you know, right now there's some little
I
controversy.
was so starstruck when I got to see her, and like she like walked around the corner. She's like, "Hey, like congratulations!" I was like, like I was like I was gigging it, and my mom was like, is that one of the Miss Olympias?" I was like, "Yes, mom." She's like, "Oh my god!" I was like, "Mom, this is 4-time Miss O, Sarah Vegas," and she's like, "Oh, okay." Like,
Wait, your mom like that said, "Oh, that's sweet, sweetheart," because you know what, it's sweet because that's the event. It's good that she was there for you and supporting her little girl. And what was critique from the judges at the show? Because I know they said Tyler was the
I
head judges.
I didn't like talk to the judges. Like that was like my bad, but I just know that I like when I was chatting with Sarah, she was saying that like my legs could be my backside could be a little more dense, and I'd say like my hamstrings need to be brought up more, and my back needs to be brought up more. Like I was like conditioned, and so like, but again, like I didn't really have an off season, so we took like the what we had, like we're seeing with the progress right here, and like we took that and we turned it into like just get as conditioned and lean as possible.
Hmm. Kind of like they just really work on your best qualities, and you're still working on the other parts you need to, like especially your back, because the back is the one thing. Like when I felt that Kelly was going to get her pro card. Honestly, I felt like she should have been overall too, because she had more density in her back, more size, more width.
Yeah,
She
she looked really good, and it was like her conditioning was like another like she has pro level conditioning. Like I feel like she would be competitive like if she could prep and do another show at pro level stage and be ready.
Yeah. Well, like I said, the list came out just about earlier this month for IB Pro. So, the first show out for the season is going to be the Triple O. That's in April. Um, this year they will not have women's bodybuilding at New York Pro, and then there won't be any more women's bodybuilding until Toronto. And then there's some shows overseas. Here's just one thing. This is from the final pose down at the for women's physique at the internationals. You also Courtney Rennick, and Dylan Crenshaw, and this is pretty cool. I mean, let me see if we can play a little bit of it.
Quarter turn to the right. Quarter turn to the right. Face front. Front double bicep. Side chest. Back double bicep.
Might mute it a little bit because YouTube's always on shit about music and stuff like that. But
Yeah.
this is very impressive. I mean, here,
We all
what was
like
that?
are displaying like our different qualities that we have. And I'd say like I thought that this lineup was like a good representation for women's physique for like every height and every size, shape and size. Because you
Yeah.
have like but again, like I am not gonna like I think I'd say the only thing that like I don't care that like I lost overall or anything. Like it's all on the judges, you know. But when you look at the comments from this post and everyone's saying like Dylan and I were intimidating Courtney, like no, bro, this is a freaking pose down. Like
Yeah.
you guys don't understand. Like this is what bodybuilding is all about. Like what we're doing is like we're competing against each other and we're laughing, smiling, having a time. And like, I wish Courtney just would have joined in on it and like had
Yeah.
fun, you know?
Yeah.
Like, don't like isolate yourself, but yes, display yourself and pose down, but you're posing down against everyone else, not just like to the judges. Like, it's like, yes, have class, poise, all that, but also like, don't be afraid to like flex a little because like that's what this like division's all about.
Yeah, because that's the fun part about the post downs. I think we sometimes with
Yeah.
the physique competitors, they don't really get into it. Like one thing that I think I love the most with you and dealing with doing the crab pose is most muscular. And as those three smells, that's our favorite pose. We get to see the muscles. We just love that part. And the thing is, you have to really also it's about competition, but also being entertaining. Here she is with her lovely mother. I mean, I'm gonna tell you this. This other son say, "You're just as pretty as your mama."
Yeah, I'm like my mom's like little clone.
That's the thing is, yeah. But I know she's proud of you. She was there to support you and to stand by you.
She's been
This
to
is
every single show that I've competed in. That's my grandma. That's my mom's mom.
well, she's just as pretty as her mama too. So
Yeah.
yeah, that's something y'all get away from genetics here.
Yeah,
But
we don't go far from genetics at all.
yeah, and we all know Courtney has served our country in the United States Marine Corps. As you know, it was just that long ago we had the 255th
50th.
birthday, 50th birthday of the Marine Corps.
Yeah.
Hoorah, leathernecks! So what did you do on your day? Because that was your day.
I went to work.
Come on, they could have
I,
given you a day off.
no, they didn't give us the day off, but I got like paid time. So it was like we got paid a little extra for working on a holiday, so I was like,
Yeah,
I'll take that. A little
yeah.
happier check, you know.
Yeah. And then it was Veterans Day, so you got to go out and you got to eat for free, a discount or whatever.
For free, I was in prep. I couldn't eat for free.
Oh, I forgot. Well, next time you're around, you can eat free next
Yeah,
time. So
no.
yeah,
Next year I'll probably still be in off season, so
yeah, yeah.
I'll be able to eat. I'll do like if I'm still like in off season mode, I'm gonna like tell Justin. I'm like, bro, we're gonna do like Veterans Day, like day cheat day, and all the free food we get, and then go have a workout. I'll
Yeah, yeah,
document it.
you like I said, with anybody who serves our country, I never say thank you for your service because you're not providing a service. You're making a sacrifice of your time, your life. You are going to places and doing things that most people don't have the courage to do. So I just say I appreciate the sacrifice you made on behalf of me as a citizen. So anyway, now the feeling of being IFB Pro, all the time, all the work, the diet, the stuff you went through. What's on your mind? What you thinking?
Um, I just want to have bigger legs now. And like I'm like literally this whole week has been like, okay, off season's gonna go like be executed like so much better this time because like I have a house, like I'm not going anywhere. There's like a sense of stability and like my routine is like I know what my work schedule is like and like I'm also like still in school as an apprentice so like I have everything like mapped out in my brain with like the layout of the structure but also it's like I'm trying to like balance more of okay like I am a bodybuilder but I also am a fiance I also have a partner I have to like take care of our relationship like that has to come back into being like priority one and like shifting like my priorities around a little bit more because like I felt like the last 2 years has been like I just want to win my pro card. I will sacrifice anything and everything. I don't care whatever it takes. Now that like we've achieved that, okay, let's like pull back the reins. We can be a human. We don't have to be so goal oriented. Like it's not going anywhere. The stage isn't going anywhere. Live life, be present, and that's like those are conversations that like we've been having and talking about and stuff. It's not I'm not like giving up on bodybuilding because I got a pro debut I want to make in 2027. But in the meantime, it's like it's having that balance of like I still have a career that has nothing to do with bodybuilding. Like that I have to be successful in because being successful in my career is what pays for me to do bodybuilding, pays for my home, like pays for everything. So unless like some random day out of the blue you get offered some like sweet sexy contract from a company like in bodybuilding they're like yeah here come do like if that happens sure I'll walk away from what I got going on here but I don't see that happening because that's just not the reality for women's bodybuilders so
Mhm. That's the sad part about this because you got to think
yeah
about it. This is a sport where a friend of mine, this is something funny. A friend of mine sent me this because I don't know, I think he didn't his name is David. I got to meet David a while back when I went to Tampa for the Tampa Bay Pro and we hanging out. And he sent me this. He was on the road traveling. He did a couple. He went to a couple shows. He went to Olympia a couple months ago. He went to the Steve Carr show in Vegas, and he was also at another show. And he was traveling for something else because he has a job. He works in the school system. And he sent me this. It was a picture. I think he was in a motel. He was watching TV, and it showed the on the you know how when they show what's on the list for what's on what show, ESPN whatever channel it was showing championship bubblegum blowing. Now this tells me something that a sport like bodybuilding doesn't get as much attention, and if it did, I think where which we can make a living for many competitors where okay I don't have to work this job for the rest of my life. I have this that takes care of my bills and pay for everything I need, you know. But that's the thing is bodybuilding is such extreme sport. It's a fringe sport. I talk about how the stuff y'all ladies got to go through. Now the guys, they go through their stuff because all they got to do is put on a pair of banana hammocks, board shorts, and some tan. You ladies, you have to not only bringing muscle and conditioning, but also presentation of femininity and muscularity. And it's not very, you know, it's not very lucrative for y'all to do this as a full time
No.
career. You could be the lucky few. A couple of days ago, my girlfriend just had a birthday. Shout out to Andrea Shaw. She's just turned 42 years old. I just love her. Yeah, I can't help myself. But
We love
she's
her.
yes, I do. I think she's just amazing.
I got to
But
meet her at the Olympia after she won her 6th title, and like we were chatting it up, and she's like, when we took a picture together, and like she's like, I want to see, and like looks at her, she's like, girl, you're not that far off. I was like, chill.
yeah, the same thing. It takes time because this sport is a lot of growing and developing you have to do. You know, it's not as easy if you compare it to other sports. We have here some comments here. Some guys popping in here. Shout to my man here, Black Panther. He's saying, "Hi, George. Hi, brother. How you doing?" Also, he says, "Montana is the greatest." Oh, thank you, brother. She appreciates that. And also, he says this. He says, "Female bodybuilders must have side hustle incomes to cover their expenses." Well, that side hustle is good too. But the thing is, it's just, if one thing I say this, sponsorship can help. If,
Oh yeah,
if,
100%.
yeah, if you can have someone who can cover, wait a minute. Oh, something
Where'd you
happened.
go?
Whoa, well, excuse me for a second. Something's playing on my computer right now. If you can have some kind of assistance where it covers the cost of your travel, the cost of your suits, um, the expenses that comes with this sport, you know.
Yeah, I agree. And like I never wanted to like look into sponsorships as an amateur athlete because it's like that puts too much pressure on yourself to deliver. And I literally like as soon as I walked off this like stage, went over to a booth from a company that I had been authentic aminos. I had ordered from them my entire prep because my coach and the owner like they're pretty tight and like talked to them. He's like, oh yeah, I remember like sending you orders like and I like we just like went back and forth and then it just made me like an affiliate like this past week and like now I get like my peptides that I order like routinely at like discounted, which is like it's a big help because I've ordered a lot of peptides through him. So it's like I finally have like been able to be like, okay, I'm comfortable with like advertising more supplements now. Like I've made it as the IFBB Pro. I feel comfortable being like, hey, these are the supplements I use. Here's what I do, but I'm not trying to me personally, like I don't want to like be coaching. I don't want to sell people programs. I don't want to do any of that because it's just mentally I'm barely like I'm on my phone as maybe like once or twice a week like posting, but like I haven't been this past year because of like all the stuff and like just explained to you. But like typically I'm like posting 1 or 2 times and I'm trying to, but it's my work schedule. Like I'm literally like in a welding booth, hood down, producing like a lot of pieces that need to be sent out and like doing a lot of fabrication. So like time is money for me. And I just like, I don't want to like, I don't feel like I have that like luxury or capacity to like sell myself more on social media like I would want to, but also at the same time, I want to like keep that like mystery. Like, what is she doing to do all that stuff? Keep it a
Mhm.
mystery. Keep everyone
Yeah.
on their toes.
You do what you feel comfortable for you. Not everybody is on social media, savvy, whatever. With me, I being a content maker, I have to be, as I quote from my master Raza, go to demon's head, where are my surroundings of all time, your mistress? But it can be both a tool and a weapon. Like tomorrow, I'm gonna have a discussion with some people about how sometimes you have to deal with uh, harassment on social media, from being people just being just plain rude and crude, people being a little nasty, guys seeing you weird shit because I was talking with a friend of mine. His wife got sent a picture, a video by a guy, punching the munchkin, And come on,
Yeah.
guys, come on, have some common sense. Here we got his shots on man. Black Panther Studio says no jobs are guaranteed. Always have something of your own. Entrepreneurship is the key. Thing is, you have to have a good idea to become an entrepreneur. Sometimes, it's hard to be your own boss. Also, he says, shout out to him again. He says this. He says, Texas, USA, and North Carolina, USA, are the best places for bodybuilding shows. I wouldn't, there is a show coming up, which is a Charlotte Pro. For one, I think it's one of the probably one of the biggest pro shows we have in the area. They last year dropped Women's Physique. No, actually it dropped Figure, but it looks like they might bring back and Women's Physique. I don't know the details of it all, but wait to see that. And also he has here, he says this says women bodybuilding and women's physique are better than women's wellness. Some of those girls, I've seen some of these girls. Whew,